Hello everybody and welcome to the True Potential Do More With Your Money podcast. It is the 14th of April and it is episode 113 and it is an Easter special. We're going to talk all things nest eggs, all things savings, and to help me with that I'm joined by this fantastic bunch of bunnies. So, hello Jamie,
hello Dad,
hello Neil,
Morning.
And hello Hayley.
Morning.
And for those who are just listening and not watching, we've got three lovely looking guests dressed as bunny rabbits this morning. So, welcome everybody. Unfortunately for the viewers, the bunny rabbits have left the room and made their way outside now. We're going to spring things off in the right step. You see the Easter link there, Jamie? And we're going to deal with some excellent questions.
dear.
I feel like Peter Bould with all this. I'm going to calm down in a moment. So the team have prepared 3 questions. These are in the purple eggs here. And if you get your question right, Jamie, Neil and Hayley, you get to take a golden egg, either home or eat it in the office. The choice is yours. So, Jamie, would you like to go first? Ladies first? Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you read, it's
look
got
at
a chick in it. That's a baby.
Are you reading or am I
baby
reading?
Chicken, Neil, a chick, right?
Baby chicken.
Yes.
Oh, what did the rate of inflation rise to this week? It's a good question. 7%, I believe it was.
7%?
7%, yeah.
Neil, can you verify that?
Yes.
Yes. Hayley, verified?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jamie, you win a golden egg.
Great.
Yes. Hayley, you're next.
Oh, goodness. Thank you.
We should confirm there was no cheating here. We didn't know these
We
questions.
didn't know this. We've
Oh.
literally had these
Yeah.
questions sprung on us. There's another spring joke.
Ooh, true or false, you can only have one type of ISA.
Right, so let's all, there's 4 of us, so we'll all say, so true or false? I'm going to say true. Anybody else true?
I'm going to say false.
False.
I'm going to say false.
2 falses, 3 falses?
Yes.
Well, I think I've been outnumbered. A golden egg for you,
False.
Hayley.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
For the interest of the viewers, I pretended that it was false to create drama in the room.
Let's see what you did.
Yes.
We should ask Kelly to label the type of ISIS that we've got now.
Oh, would you like us to label them?
Go on then.
We've got a normal stocks and shares ISA.
Yep.
We have a JISA.
Yep.
We have, that's everything, isn't it? No, lifetime allowance ISA.
And they've got lifetime ISA, you've got flexible ISA.
Yeah.
Which is really the same. You could kind of split in half.
And a cash ISA as
And a
well.
cash
Yeah,
ISA.
cash ISA.
Yeah.
As well. Neil.
I really hope this is the hardest one.
Neil does like the hardest
I'm
ones.
glad I got that
So
question,
it's,
to be fair.
yeah.
Oh, this one's drunk. Okay. Pension versus ISA. Which should I use to grow my nest egg?
That's a good question.
Interesting
That's a
question.
good question.
Yeah.
Would you like to start, Neil?
Yes. I would say both for a start.
Well, it
because-
said which one, though.
Which one? Okay. So if I was to go for the first one, I would say pension, definitely. Probably because you get your tax uplift when you invest into it. And more importantly is it's inaccessible until you're age 55 at this moment. So it's a good way of putting money away and not touching it, but also getting a tax uplift as well.
So 1 vote for pension nest eggs. We'll probably talk a bit more about nest. Should we give Neil a golden egg for that lovely
Yeah, I think
answer?
that's-
Yes.
Okay.
Would you like a green or a gold one, Neil?
I'll have a green one, thanks.
Green egg.
Thank
There
you
we
very
go.
much. Yes.
I'll put these eggs out the way for now. Look, that's a great way to kick things off, I think, and talk about nest eggs in general. Like, what do we mean by a nest egg? And I think it probably starts with something we've talked a lot about our True Potential, which is let's start with a goal. Let's start with why are you actually building a nest egg, which I think would then probably help Neil in terms of your answer there, which is, you know, the nest egg you're clearly talking about is a happy retirement.
Yeah.
Thus the pension from there. So it starts with a goal. Jamie, what would a good goal look like in terms of what type of attributes should a goal have?
It should have you always want to have a target in sight, so how much you wish to make or have from an income perspective and a date, which is sometimes difficult when it comes to retirement. But if you look setting yourself a timeline of when you want to achieve it and actually what you want to achieve,
Yeah.
It's always the areas I would focus on from a goal. So
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well with things like, depending on the product, so a pension would be typically for retirement. That would be a great retirement goal. But if you're looking at an ISA might be something for more short term. So a short term goal, a short term nest egg. So it could be thinking, if you're 18, it might be for the first deposit for your house, or it could be for your first car. So it tends to be shorter, but it is still a goal that you need to achieve. And also, well, it is a nest egg.
I think that's probably a good thing to talk about, because as you've heard from Neil and Jamie there, you can actually have multiple goals as well. I think it can be too easy at times to get focused on, I have to retire, or I have to raise a deposit for the house, or what have you. But Haley, I think on the technology, it's a bit of a true potential plug, but on the true potential technology, you can have multiple goals, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can set as many goals as you like. So I think me personally is the prime example of looking into the future, and then also for what I need right now. I've got short-term goals as well as long-term goals, and with having that setting on the site, it's very easy to see. You can top up and kind of manage where you're at throughout the whole time as well.
Yeah, and the top-up side of things is that, Jamie, if we look at, say, building your nest egg and hitting your multiple goals, I know you're an avid user of the app. Do you build up your nest egg via, say, direct debits, or do you use impulse saves, or do you use a mixture?
I use a mixture of both, Dan. So I set a regular of, so treat it as like as a bill. It sounds like a bit of a thing, but like, so I say you're coming out of my bank at the start of every month, and it's a bill in terms of a savings, and then I look at impulse savings. Actually, at the end of the month, what have I got left? Do I wish to kind of move this into my cash spending fund, or kind of look to save it? And 9 times out of 10, I'll use the impulse save functionality to top that up. Prime example is, obviously, we've just hit the new ISA season, so the opportunity to top up your the new ISA allowance, or your pension allowance, as Neil said, it's something I've been looking at. I wanted to get there on the 6th of April, so I was able to do that on holiday.
So for that, with the 6th of April, Neil, that's obviously the beginning of tax year, which obviously runs from April the 6th to April the 5th next year.
Yeah.
And what type of allowances can people make the most of?
ISA allowance primarily, which is the one that springs to mind for everybody, 20,000 per person, which you can put into your ISA in a tax year. That's not a rollover though, so if you don't use it within that tax year, you can't roll over last year's. So you specifically lose it for the annual allowance from that point of view. But 20,000 is a lot, for an individual, and most people probably won't put in that maximum allowance, but 20,000 is quite a lot. And then you've got pensions from that sort of an annual allowance point of view as to how much you can put into your pension. That depends on realistically how much money you earn, because it's 100% up to 100% of your relevant earnings, so you can put that in, or 40,000 as a limit. Okay, so you've got quite a lot of allowances which you can use in any financial tax year. And what Jamie just said before is very relevant. People's lives are very busy, and the great thing is about having the app is that you might say, well, I really haven't got time to see a financial advisor, and I'll just top up on my mobile, and the money goes straight in from your debit card, and you can max your allowances or put in as much as you wish.
Yeah, and for topping up in that way, Haley, in the app, can you save your debit card within there?
You can save it. So it's there recognised, just like if you were to do like an online shopping or something like that. It's saved there within the app and on the browser. So it's a dead straightforward payment where you can just literally click confirm how much you're putting in. I think one thing for me, which I've learned, is I think a lot of people look at the allowances and think it's a lot of money. For me, I've got a young family, bills coming out of my ears, which everyone has at the minute with the gas electric going up. But for me, it's utilising what I can, as in when each month and what have you. So you look at £20,000 and think that's a lot of money, but do what you can rather than just kind of writing the whole thing off.
And with that allowance sale, if we stay on that side of things, does the app tell you how much your allowance is?
Absolutely.
So it keeps you on the rails.
Yeah, it keeps you right on track.
Yeah. So your tactic or your strategy for building your nest egg and hitting your goals, Haley, is chipping away at it as and when you're going to afford it.
Absolutely. I think for me personally, I do it at the start of the month.
Yeah.
You always find something to spend the money on by the end of the month. So if I've got something at the start, then that's great. And it's like more of a weekly thing, using the rewards feature in the apps and the browsers as well, which is a fantastic way to, it's basically free money for what you're spending. So using like different features like that and just kind of exploring all options rather than just thinking I need to do this on every set day of each month to eventually get where I need to be.
Well, I think we'll move on to some of that in just a moment, because I think it's really interesting about how you juggle different finances and juggle the day-to-day side of things and frankly living versus where you want to be in the future. But I'll just stick on allowances for 2 more moments, because Neil obviously mentioned you can pay £20,000 up to into your ISA or £40,000 into the pension. But I think with the pension, Jamie, with that £40,000, it doesn't stop there, does it? Because you get pension relief.
Yeah, so you can put up to 40,000 per annum into your pension, including tax relief.
Yes.
However, you can, and this is where getting advice comes into hand, and something that you should look at if you're looking from an additional contribution. You can actually backdate contributions for up to 3 years, but it's worth you speaking to an advisor so they can tell you how much exactly you can put in. Obviously, we've had discussions about this recently. So if you're kind of thinking, actually, I've got a little bit more money now, I've had a bit of a nest egg come in or something like this, and you're thinking, I can only put that level into my pension. Well, actually, you might be able to put a bit more. So it's worth
because with the 40,000, it's not you actually putting that in, because the pension relief lifts
pension
it.
relief lifts at the 40,000.
Yeah. If for those who don't know, pension relief is you put the money in and then the government tops it up by
basically it comes in a month later via prize, which we call the pension relief. So you'll find if you look on your app, it'll if you put, for example, that pound in, you'll see the prize amount will be on your transactions as pending, and then it'll come through a month later typically. So
it's effectively, it's not quite free money, but it is. It's almost a top up at source.
Well, I think if you're looking at a high inflation rate, what you're almost thinking is, if you're putting money into your pension, what a great way to beat inflation, because you get that extra tax uplift straight into
that bumper straight off it.
The key as well is if you're kind of thinking of your pension as a, for someone like myself, I know there's different ages till when you're potentially going to take it, but I just say I'm going to take that in 25 years time. You've got the relief, you get the 25% tax-free cash at the end of it, so you're gaining that on that relief, but also the growth over 25 years, you don't really, that can make a huge difference to your pot. And the sooner you build your pot up as in sort of your younger age, is actually the easier it is. But what I would say is, if you haven't done that, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't start saving now.
No, and look, if you look at where, say, markets have been this year, they've been choppy, to use one of a better term, but if you look at the last month in particular, they've been very positive, and you can imagine the impact of putting £100 into your pension, getting the pension relief, but also taking advantage of where the market was 2 or 3% lower this time last month as well. So what a boon that would mean to your pension. And it's probably something I always recommend to people, is be as aggressive as you can with your savings. If and when you can afford it, don't sit back and don't try and time the market or whatever as well. Get it in, and it will deliver. It will get that outcome.
I think
for
it's
you.
important as well, when we're talking about our own true potential portfolios. When we're managing, we're looking at maybe volatile markets over the Ukraine situation, and previously we had COVID in March 20, is the diversification of the portfolios. That manages, obviously we've got a great team in TPI who manage that, but it's really important to say that, specifically a phrase that we always use amongst financial advice is, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
So
the diversification really works, and that sort of is evident in the past year or two.
And Hayley, if we flip back to yourself, I think you mentioned a really great point about, say, living costs going up at the moment. We've probably all been stung a bit with, well, not probably, we all have been stung with, electric, gas, and what have you. But you said a great point, which is you still look to commit your savings at the start of the month in terms of, so do you look at an overall budget in terms of your household?
Yeah, I think the only way for me personally at this point is to budget. So you know what you've got, what you need to put out, and then what you've got left to have as kind of cash spending money. For me, I personally find it a lot easier to do it before anything comes out, because I think if the money's there, it automatically gets moved on to something else. If it's taken away from you at the very start, it's just like it's never been there. And you can manage your life around that, basically.
No, I do exactly the same here. All of my direct debits are set to come out the first of the month. So it's a real bittersweet day, isn't it, on payday? Because you see it coming, yay, and then the next day it's gone. You're like, oh, what happened there? But you're absolutely bang on. You're absolutely right, Hayley, because then for the rest of the month, you know what you've got to do to stay within the rails there. And I suppose that's where it's nice with the goal side of things, because as well as being able to record your goals, you can see that gap.
Yeah.
You can see, are you ahead of the goal or are you behind it
Yeah.
as well. So that's quite exciting. Yeah. Jamie, you direct debits. It obviously comes at the start of the month as well. And then when you look to do a top up with an impulse save, do you then wait till like the 30th of the month and see what if there's anything spare?
As obviously you've been a bit more active. Yes, I typically do, or sometimes if I see a little bit of a drop in the market, I would maybe pop a little bit of money in every so often.
Yeah.
I try me luck a little bit. So there's a drop sometimes, but typically the end of the month I'll go, what have I got left? Right, okay, that's gonna be saved, and that's on top of me. And sometimes that's nothing, and sometimes it's a little bit. It depends on what the month is.
But I think the moral of it here is it doesn't matter if it's £1 or £1,000.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I'm not being glib. I know that some people are really getting hammered with some of the living costs, but I also think it's interesting because you read about this in the press and you hear about it on the TV. I was out in Newcastle on the weekend and it was heaving, and it wasn't people shopping or what have you. It was the bars, it was the restaurants, and what have you. So I think there is a lot of almost, and I know we haven't felt the worst of it yet, but or maybe we won't. But it seems like there is a lot of surplus cash around, and I think it's probably when we think a bit about budgeting as well. It's could you just do that one less pint on a Saturday night? Just one pint, which is
or one less takeaway, or
one,
I think as well. I mean, over the last 2 years, people have been saving a lot of money under lockdown, and they've accumulated a lot of savings, and we're seeing that. But I think people are going out on Saturday because they're getting drunk before their first electricity bill comes out, probably.
Well, there is that, isn't there? Yeah.
And
Neil, you mentioned rewards, and I think everybody's talked a little bit about rewards, but
rewards are great on the app. We obviously we're promoting this because, like Hayley's just said before, it's free money.
Yeah.
If you're going to top up into your pension or you're going to top up into your ISA, but you're also going to buy something from ASOS, then why not get a rewards cashback, and that goes straight into your investment. It's invested, pretty much straight away.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're going to buy stuff online, then why not get money back on it?
Yeah. And I think the marketing team, I know, have run a bit of an Easter campaign as well with rewards. I think there's some chocolatey benefits to be had. Yeah.
There's a lot of names on there, to be fair. There's a lot of big retailers on there, probably most of the retailers that we all use daily.
Well, there's some of that, and I think as we're getting into, summer holiday planning in the next 2-3 months or whatever, I had a look the other day, and you've got your Jet2 holidays and TUI and things like that, and if you're spending £1,000 or what have you, or a couple of £1,000 on a holiday, getting 2-3-4% cash back on that's excellent. So you think that comes into your pension, and then you get your prize on it as well. So you're almost getting like two for the price of one there in terms of the rewards. And I know we do talk about rewards, and at times we get some people say, why do you talk about it? Because you're an investment and wealth management firm. And yeah, absolutely. But we just see it as Neil and Hayley said, it's free money. It's a way to make your spending top up your pension, which in turn helps you retire or hit your goal earlier as well, which is no bad thing.
Yeah. I was looking at mine last night in rewards, which is basically booking.com, just eat. You get 1% on Just Eat. So I get 1% on my Chinese and put it in my pension, which will probably, I'll not live as long.
Well, it'll work out quite well. You'll have more money and you'll die faster, so you'll be able to spend it all right.
So that's why he changed his gilet from a medium to a large.
That's right. We'll need to get into summer shave quick.
I bought some running trainers as well, Neil, with that 3%.
Best intentions, Jamie.
Exactly.
I bought a new Fitbit yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah. So there we go.
Good intentions.
Good intentions, all right. Yeah. I think we've covered a fair bit there. I think I don't want to do it to death, so to speak, because I think the premise is very simple, which is plan for what you want to do. Have multiple goals, because everybody has short-term and longer-term goals there. Use the technology to do it. And I think, obviously, with it being Easter and being this time of the year, we've obviously got the long weekend coming up. And what I probably urge everybody to do is to be able to log into their sites or log into their app and just have a quick look and think, am I in the right place? Are my goals appropriate as well? Maybe speak to your husband or your wife and say, is this what we want to be doing? Is this what we want to be saving towards? And with the goals, Hayley, you mentioned you can track the goals. Can you also update those goals if people are spring cleaning?
Yeah. So you can edit your goals as often as you want, really.
Right.
people's goals do change. They've got different milestones in lives and life changes as well. So it's dead straightforward to log in. Literally, it's a little pen button next to the goal. Click on it, and you can edit it straight out.
Yeah. I think it's really important when you mentioned the word spring clean is you spring cleaning your finances. And also I did that similar thing the other day when I was looking at the direct debits that were coming out of my bank account, and you sometimes realise even on your mobile phone it can be tricky to sort of sign up for an app, and then that app's going to be charging you in 3 months or 6 months time. But also as well, I noticed under lockdown the subscription services that you're paying for, things like Netflix, things like Disney, things like Amazon, it all builds up, and it's a really good opportunity for you to look and see what's coming out your bank account, and if you've got any spare you can save it.
No, it's a great shout actually, but spring cleaning where you've been spending money as well, because I'm guilty of that. I got an email, I think it was just 2 weeks ago, saying we've auto-renewed your Disney subscription. I think, all right. Thanks. Luckily we use it because the kids watch Encanto every day.
You're never going to cancel that for the kids.
No, exactly that.
Well, as you'll know, that beer subscription that I was meant to cancel a year and a half ago, still paying it.
It's still paying it.
I quite like the beer though, so
still drinking it.
Do you get rewards on that as well, Jamie?
No, I don't actually. I don't get rewards on that. I just get more beer.
Well, maybe that's your mission this weekend.
Yeah, I probably should.
So look, we've got the long weekend. We're going to be setting our goals. Jamie's going to be cancelling the beer subscription and getting a new one. On the rewards. But Hayley, what are your plans this weekend?
My plans? We're going to the caravan for the weekend.
Right.
I can't go out and celebrate, unfortunately, in the town. So I'm going to have a nice family weekend. It's meant to be a nice weekend, so maybe just have a barbecue and just have a nice chilled one.
Is the weather going to be here?
It's meant to be getting up to 22 degrees, so I'm
hoping
watch
so.
Out,
Jamie.
That's 60
Haley and Neil get the sun quite well, but I think Mr. Jamie here doesn't. Again, for the viewers, Jamie's just been in Mexico. I don't know if anybody can tell. Neil, what's your plans?
Similar, really. I'm going to take some Easter eggs up to my nephews and nieces. So my mum's got a caravan locally up in Frostley, which is just not far around the corner. So we're going to take it up there, and I'm going to be the Easter bunny. So I might borrow those ears.
You're not having my egg.
I'm not having yours, no.
No. And just for the benefit of the doubt, not everybody in the North East lives in caravans.
No.
No,
definitely not.
Yeah. And Jamie?
Yes, I'm going to the caravan. No, I've got family round on. It's the wife's side of the family.
My wife, not the wife.
The wife, my wife, yeah. It's my wife's side of the family. So that'll be interesting, to say the least.
Are you cooking?
I am, yes. We're just doing a bit. But there's I think it's about 23 of them coming. They're a big Catholic family. So
all coming to your house?
Yes, so it started off with just like Annie and a mum and sister, and it's now turned into everyone. So I might just bring in sick that day.
Yeah, just so you've got COVID.
I might go to Neil's mum's caravan.
Yeah, you can come, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Yeah. Well, you factor 50.
Well, look, that's fab, guys. Thank you very much. Enjoy your long weekends. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for dialing in. And enjoy your long weekend as well. Have a lovely Easter, and we'll speak to you next week. Cheers. Subscribing to the True Potential YouTube channel is quick and easy. Simply go to the channel on your desktop or through the YouTube app on your phone and click the subscribe button. You can then press the notification bell symbol if you wish to be notified as and when new videos are released. Doing this is a great way to keep yourself updated with market developments and personal finance insights. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, and we look forward to continuing to help you do more with your money.